Having reached the heart of Portugal the day before, the roll out of Vila de Rei this morning was a fast one. Matilda and I enjoyed a long downhill at speed, like oxygen-enriched arterial blood shooting out into the aorta under pressure, eager to nourish the body's hungry muscles. Westwards down into the gorge we accelerated in silence. After having negotiated the series of climbs out of Miradouro Penedo Furado, we hit a deliciously flat patch of asphalt, which allowed me to open up Matilda's engines for an exhilarating half-hour time trial of fast rolling. Even though still carrying a fair bit of weight, my baby had no problems in hurtling us towards our day's destination, the world-famous pilgrimage town of Tomar. Despite making great time, we weren't in a rush to end our day's roll. So, when we came upon another major landmark on this leg of the journey, the Barragem de Castelo de Bode, it was a fitting place to take a relaxing lunch break and soak in the stunning views of the dam.
It's day 7 lunchtime and I've made it to the Barragem de Castelo de Bode, which is the Castelo de Bode Dam. It's a really amazing place. I'll just give you a bit of a look around. That's the valley behind there. So that's what it's keeping the water away from, and I'll just go for a walk along the bridge. Just car coming at the moment, wait till it's gone. And take you to the other side so you can see the actual other side. And this is the Serra river as well, and Tomar is in that direction, so I've got about another, I think about 20 odd K to go. But after the rain of the other day, it's been really good now, really warm, really sunny, and just a joy to be out on the road. So I'm glad you're on the journey with me. See ya.
With our unexpectedly early arrival in Tomar, I had plenty of time to go and explore the breathtakingly beautiful Castelo dos Templarios and Convento de Cristo, perched high up on the hill overlooking the town. I still can't manage to wrap my head around how these utterly magnificent works of architecture were built back in the 12th century. Matilda and I were now on the penultimate day of this first leg of our tour to Portugal, and how fitting it was to have the opportunity to undertake our own mini Camino along the old pilgrimage route from Tomar to Fátima. Fátima had become famous for the appearances of the apparition of the Virgin Mary to 3 young shepherds over a period of 6 months in 1917. Well, at least that's how the story goes. Who knows what really happened some 100 years ago? Regardless, it was nice to entertain the imagination as we navigated our way along the peaceful, though at times rather rough, roads leading to the Santuário de Fátima, where we would arrive at exactly high noon.
Olá! Bom dia! Bom dia!
Day 8, it's exactly on lunchtime. I've just arrived in Fátima, and this precinct here is absolutely amazing, the Basilica. I think they're just starting a midday service over there as well. You can hear that in the background. It's been a really good ride this morning, and it's just a fantastic place to visit here. It's just absolutely huge. I can only imagine what this is like, you know, when the Pope's been visiting and you've got just this whole area here just full of people. But anyway, so I've still got to ride down to Alcobaça via Porto de Mos this afternoon. And that's it. Yep, a bit of rain expected later on today, but I should keep dry for the afternoon. All right, see you later.
The afternoon's ride would take us over the last major mountain pass of this leg, one which would reward us with a very fast descent into Porto de Mos. Having heard from 2 Polish bike tourists who we'd run into in Fátima that there was some decent rain on the way, we were going to be cutting it close to making it to our final stop in Alcobaça without getting soaked. So we kept pushing on, though still briefly stopping for a snack break at the base of the town's green-roofed castle built in a Romanesque style. We'd arrived in Alcobaça just as the rain had started, first as a light drizzle, but which then gradually set in over the next hour or so. However, worrying about the rain was the last thing on my mind as I set off to explore the stunning monastery, the final resting place of King Pedro and Inês de Castro, Portugal's own Romeo and Juliet. Now that's a real tale of deep love and tragic loss. Fortunately, Matilda and I are unlikely to ever suffer the same fate. The final day had arrived. The sun was gently warming up the morning as we meandered through the small towns on the short roll back to our starting point in Caldas da Rainha. What a pleasure it was to finally get to explore the territory and landscapes to be found at the edges of my home shire. I've always found it incredibly nostalgic to revisit places I'd not seen in years, such as when I visited the neighbourhoods of my childhood in Sydney, Mount Isa and Brisbane, Australia. Even though it had only been 9 days since we departed Caldas, maybe the journey had in some way accelerated my thoughts beyond the regular reaches of time. I was experiencing that same feeling of nostalgia as if I'd been away for years. I was seeing my home away from home with new eyes, and I guess also a new heart. The effect of travel and exploration, and the reasons why I do it, are reflected perfectly in the following quote by T.S. Eliot. "We shall not cease from exploration, and the end of all our exploring will be to arrive where we started and know the place for the first time." There's a lot for all of us to be thankful for, and though it's often right under our noses, we're seemingly blind to it. Maybe the purpose of undertaking meaningful journeys is to help us improve our awareness and attention, so that we can also appreciate the true meaning of what we already have at home, waiting for our return.
Well, g'day, it's midday of day 9 of leg 1 of the Tour de Portugal, and I'm now back at my starting point here at the Municipal Square in Caldas da Rainha. The day started in Alcobaça, where I visited the monastery, and then I rode in from there about 30 odd kilometres over fairly hilly terrain, so it took a couple of hours, but absolutely amazing sunny conditions, so a really great way to end this phase of the tour. So just to finish off, I'd like to thank all my followers and supporters who just make making these videos so worthwhile, and I look forward to making more of them in the future. Thanks for your support. Bye.